had been up on the mountain, and my brother had a cabin in what we call a place called High Knob, which is, I understand to be the second highest point in the state of Virginia. And he had a cabin there, and we had been out to the cabin, and there was one other man staying up there with a woman, and they she had a baby, and we were leaving, the man wanted to ride out with us because he wanted to come off and to get some things, and he left the woman there, and he brought the baby off. Well, the next morning, a friend of mine and myself drove up to the top of what they call the High Knob Mountain. And the snow was so deep that on the ridge going out to where my brother's cabin was, which was about 4 miles further out, and the snow was right on top of the ridge, and so the wind came up both directions, and there were large drifts of snow that was just like powder. And this, and I had an Army Jeep, and I started out there, and I knew I couldn't go. We just lifted the Jeep off the ground. It didn't have enough ground clearance. And it was so cold, and I had goose down clothing on. It was so cold, I was even colder than that. So we came back off the mountain and went down to where I knew this man would be, and told him that he should go after that woman. And I said, there's no use to try to get up there with a Jeep. And I said, Jeep won't make it. The other fellow said, happened to be there. I said, well, maybe you're not a Jeep skinner. I said, well, it may not be, but I said, I had the first one anybody in Southwest Virginia had. And I said, you won't take a Jeep there. But I said, my brother had a GMC carryall, 4-wheel drive, it's got a winch on it. I said, I don't know if he'll go out there or not, but I said, I think if you ask him, he'll try to go out and get her. And so another man spoke up and said, well, all she's got to do is go out where my cabin is, and there's plenty of wood there, and plenty of food. And all you got to do is, I said, well, she could do that, but I said, I wouldn't take a chance on her doing it. She might not do it. And I said, you don't realize how cold it is up there. So he decided he would go. So I contacted my brother. We got a GMC. We started out. We hit a couple of drifts with it. If it had been wet snow, you couldn't have gone through them. It was just like powder. It was so cold. And I took a picture of the big high carryall GMC. And I had one picture taken. I went and walked ahead and got a picture of it coming through the snowdrift, and you barely can tell that there's an automobile vehicle there. So after we got to where she was, we went in the cabin. She was sitting on the side of the bed, with a blanket wrapped around her. There was a bowl of water sitting on the table that was frozen solid. There's a little oil heater that's on, but there's not enough heat coming out of it for anything because there's water sitting beside of it frozen. So anyhow, we asked her, she said she had tried 3 different times to go down to this other man's cabin, and wild dogs had chased her back. And so we got her and brought her out of there, and found out later that she lost either 2 or 3 toes from frostbite. That's how cold it was, and then if we hadn't have gotten the man to go back and get her, I'm sure she would not have survived. Survival only because of people who was concerned about her.